In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the latest CabWriter feature, which is a user interface to give you the ability to access and change any of the parameters that we use for drawing. So if you need to change from face frame to frameless drawing or somewhere in between, or change any other parameter, I will show you how to do that. So the first thing we do is when you created your project initially, you hit this icon right here, which is the Create Project icon. And that was all you could do in the past. But now you will notice a new icon here. The CabWriter project settings allows you to change them there. Also over here on the tool palette, you'll find the same icon. And, of course, you'll find it under File, CabWriter, Edit Project. So we can get into it any of those ways. So if we do that, you're going to see a brand new dialog box. This first page is similar to what used to be on there when you created a project, but now you'll notice there's a little bit more stuff here. So you'll have to play around. I'm not going to go over every single parameter here, but you'll notice there's a number of tabs across the top. Over here in the general, we have either face frame or frameless, but as you'll see later and in later videos, frameless actually has even more flexibility than that and allows you to do hybrid between face frame and frameless. You choose your type of doors. Right now we just support inset, but soon we will have overlay, and of course with frameless we support that. Your scribe allowance, so I'm setting a general scribe allowance of a ½ inch for this project. My door gaps are 3/32, and clearance to the countertop for frameless, this applies to frameless only, is 1/8 inch from the top of the door or drawer front to the countertop. And then this is something that we'll cover in later videos, but it defines what's considered a small part for CNC tool pathing. Here's our wall height, outdoor wall thickness, inside wall thickness. You can see under carcass we have a number of items here, some of which are coming in the future, aren't there yet, but shelf depth clearance, the front to back clearance for your shelves, side to side clearance on either side. We've got toe kick height, toe kick depth, whether you draw the toe kick or not, the ladder base height, and so on down the line. Under cut list, this one's pretty powerful here. This actually goes along with cut list bridge, and it allows you to oversize parts. In other words, if you wanted, when you're cutting your parts, if you want on the cut list for it to show a final size and an oversized size, you can add that oversizing here. This can be changed in the extended entity info window at any time, but this is the default that will be applied to the various parts by CabWriter automatically. And this can be pretty powerful. For example, when I build doors, I build my stiles and rails oversized in width so that I have the ability to size the doors up later, and also the way we mill our door frame parts is using the shaper and an outboard fence, so I want a little extra width on my parts for the shaper to take off and make a clean cut. So for my door and drawer styles in width, I add an extra 1/8 inch, a 1/16 inch for the shaper, and a 1/16 inch so that I build the door oversized and have some extra material to fit it to an inset opening. I have to make the stiles an 1/8 inch longer accordingly to match the extra width in my stiles. But what's nice about this, and also for thickness, I oversize my doors a 1/16 inch so that I can run them through the wide belt sander and take off a 32nd on each side. So by putting that here, CabWriter and Cut List Bridge will automatically add this extra thickness or width to the cut list. You'll see both the final dimension and the oversized dimension. Because we don't want to draw the oversized dimensions over here in the model. We want the model to reflect the final dimensions, but we want to add the scribe and any other oversizing into the cut list. So you can set all that here, or you can set them to 0. For your doors, you can define your style and rail widths and thicknesses and so on for both bases and uppers. For drawers, eventually we will have the ability to specify the drawer box size so that we can generate a report for that and a cut list. And but right now, for the drawer faces, if you've defined frame and panel back in the earlier parameters, it'll just allow you to specify the panel sizes and style and rail widths. Drilling. Drilling's interesting. We can either, you have the option to drill as line boring based on the fact whether I pick yes or no for CNC. If it's not a CNC project, it's going to default to line boring. And so you can set the line bore start from the bottom on your bases, and the front hole offset 37 millimeters is pretty common. The back road distance from the back edge, the hole diameter, the depth, the spacing 32 millimeters is pretty common. And if you are on a CNC project, we can selectively drill the holes. So we won't just drill a whole bunch of holes in there. We'll only drill holes where needed for hinge plates, drawer slides, and shelves. So in that case, this parameter applies for your drawer slides. So you have to know the distance between the holes on the drawer slide. So 480 millimeters is common for a 21-inch slide. It shows you've got some parameters for your hinge plate holes, what offset from the door bottom and top you want for a small door, a medium door, or a large door. And here's your delimiters for a small door and a large door. Everything in between is considered a medium door. So these offsets from the top and bottom would apply as to where your hinge plates would go. And this is an important one. The offset from the bottom of an opening as to where you want your drawer slide holes. So I've got this set for 1.5 inches up from the base of an opening, or in the case of a frameless, from where the door or drawer face starts. Same with the uppers, you've got those. We have something called a connector hole that you can define. So there's still 5 millimeter holes. It's the same parameter here. I think we're going to have a different parameter in the future for connector holes. But this defines holes that you can use with the little barrel connectors to connect your carcasses together, ones that connect up against each other. So wherever there's a connector style, it would draw connector holes that you could use just for that. So here's the horizontal offset from the front or the back edge, the vertical offset from the top or bottom, and the vertical offset from the top or bottom of the sorry, it's just for the base bottom. Some of these you just need to play with so you get used to what they do, but I'm just trying to give you a quick overview here. End panels, what type of joinery? A miter or a butt. Right now just the miter works. Frame and panel, style and rail width, frame thickness, panel thickness, and so on. Your face frame, this is where there's a lot of real power here. You'll notice right now I was back here on the project, I was set to frameless, which gives me the ability to turn on or off my face frame parts. So really this is more than frameless. This is what you might consider hybrid. If they were all off, it would be frameless. There'd be no stiles or rails. But if you notice in this model over here to the right, I've chosen to keep some of the face frame parameters on so that I'm drawing my, for example, my end panel styles. In certain places I'm drawing connector styles for my uppers, but over here I'm not. On my base I don't have a lot of styles or rails being drawn, but here in the corner my butt styles are being drawn. And on the refrigerator cabinet just the outer styles are drawn. But there's no rails in the entire kitchen. So I've got the ability to set those on or off here. I've got my face frame thickness and so on. Face frame thickness for the base as well. And I also have here a set of parameters for my drawer front heights. So as I turn things on and off, you'll notice here, say I turn the top rail back on for my base. And if I update this, sometimes you have to go back to another frame. But, oops, my top rail didn't take. Turn the top rail back on, update. And let me just go back to another panel here. Okay, the top rail's on, but notice over here, it's telling me that my 3-drawer bank is red now. That means it's adding this up and adding in any rails and door and drawer gaps, and it's telling me that I got to change my opening sizes because now I have a top rail in there that's eating up some of the vertical room. So, and it's telling me that I've got to take out 1 inch and 15/32 somewhere along the way. So I could play with these heights. So I could make this 5 1/2 inches, for example. And if I hit the button here, it's now telling me I got to take 31/32 out somewhere. So I could take, turn this into 10. Hit the button again. Now I got 1/32 that I got to take out of there. So I could do 15/32 here. And now it's telling me everything's good with my 3-drawer bank. So I can play around with that for different settings that I make over here. And lastly, base cabinets. I've got a bunch of parameters here. Stretcher or top thickness for the carcass. So some of the carcass settings are set over here in base cabinets, and some are set in upper cabinets. Countertop height, cabinet depth, the gap from the carcass to the back of the wall, bottom thickness, back thickness, side partition thickness, and so on and so forth. So all those can be set here. So once you've set this, you can close this. Closing updates it. Hitting the update button will update the settings. Now, you could conceivably have obviously different projects that require different settings. So I might have a face frame project one day and a frameless project another day, and I want to be able to quickly pull those parameters back in. So we have two functions here. Up here I've got the icons, and down here I've got the icons, and of course they are also under CabWriter save defaults and open and load defaults. So if I wanted to save the defaults we just created, I could hit the save icon. This is a temporary debug statement that we have in here, so you can ignore that, and give it a file name. So I can say hybrid settings, for example, and click OK. Now I've got those saved for any project that I might want to do. So if I want to load in a set of settings, I can hit the load icon or access it via the file menu. And notice there's a whole bunch of them in here. Face frame and frameless come with CabWriter, but I've created some of these other ones. So if I want to go back to face frame, I will hit face frame and load it. Now if we go in and look, you'll notice face frame is set. And if I go over to face frame here, you'll notice all these are set and locked except for the bottom rail on the face frame for base styles and rails, and the bottom rail for the uppers. Otherwise, everything's turned on. If I want, again, if I want to do something a little more flexible, I could do frameless or hybrid. And notice now I can turn them all on or off. They're all off right now, but I can selectively turn them back on. And notice that my 3-drawer bank is not set up properly anymore because I don't have the same rails turned on or off. So that is the quick overview of the parameter settings in CabWriter. So to review, you've got a whole bunch of settings you can set in here, and please play around with different ones. We'll eventually have a manual that describes all of these, but for now You can either drop us a line and ask us if you're having problems with one, or just play around with it and see what it does. And don't forget the load and save function. So if you find something you like, make sure you save it with this icon here, or this icon here. And if you need to reload them, you'll use the open and load CabWriter defaults. Thank you.